Hey, so I wanted to go through the onboarding one more time for you guys. What we did yesterday, we pulled up our the key topics that we went over. We went over our mission. We don't have to do that. You can look that up. I just want to make this really quick. Foster expectations, responsibilities, pretty self-explanatory. You're not responsible for any money that for anything to pay for. You are not responsible for anything but the daily care, the safety, and vet visits. And even for the vet visits, if you cannot make it to the vet visit, if you tell us early enough, we can get a transporter to take the dog to the vet. We pay everything. We pay for everything: food, the medical, transport, any kind of supplies that you need. We'll give it to you. We wanted to point out that we only use martingale collars, and that's super important only because a martingale is the only collar that doesn't allow a dog to back out of a collar. So even a harness, a dog can get out of it. They get spooked, especially when they come from shelters and they're scared. So a martingale will be given to you along with the leash, of course, and everything else that you need. But that's the only thing that we're using with our shelter dogs and with our dogs in general. Wanted to briefly touch on a decompression period. There is a file, and all of these files that I'm talking about will be or are now on the Slack channel. But just wanted to go over how important it is to let the dog decompress. Dogs come with anxiety. They will not be the same dog that they were in the beginning when you look at them 3 months going back. The 3-3-3 rule, it's definitely true. 3 days decompression, 3 weeks adjustment, 3 months, you get the confidence and they come out to be who they are. The couple do's and don'ts are, don't go all over the place, go straight home. Don't stop at PetSmart, just bring them home. Keep them on the leash always. Don't assume that they're going to stick with you because they're timid. They don't. One of the puppies that we brought in from the Rowan County case, the little, hoarding case, if I could only speak. One of them was adopted because they had several that they allowed to be adopted. And of course at the shelter, especially Rowan County, they're not the greatest. They just let them take it, no warning, no nothing. So she came home, she put the dog down and the dog's gone. She can't find him anywhere. And it's cold out, so I don't know if this dog will survive, or it could have been eaten by a coyote by now. I don't know, but that's the sad part. So always leash, always martingale collar. Another note about martingale collar, do not leave it on in the crate because it has the double loops, and if they get stuck somewhere, they can get choked to death. So it needs to come off and just be used for walks and for going outside. Give them a safe space. We require that you crate train, so make the crate the best place for them. They would want to be in the crate if you make it a great place for them. And we'll go over that with the documents that we share on the Foster channel. Start a routine, follow the crate schedule, so important. Makes them feel better right away. Use positive reinforcement and always supervise. So if you can't watch them, put them in the crate. That's what I always tell them. Don't rush them, obviously. Give them the time that they need. Don't give them unlimited freedom. Don't let them go all over the house. They're just going to get in trouble. Don't switch their food too quickly, which for a lot of the shelter dogs it doesn't matter because we're starting off with food that different from what they had. And then again, don't let them off leash. The health and veterinary care, we are scheduling the first appointment because we have to fill out a JOT form. We let you know when that appointment is. If we have to change it, we can change it. If you need a transport volunteer, then we can arrange that. But we encourage you to go to these vet visits because you know the dog best. After the first vet visit, we ask that you make any follow-ups for boosters and for anything else that you need to come back for on your own while you're there. So just tell them, hey, I want to make an appointment. You know your schedule. And then just make it, and then let us know about it because we need to have that just so we know when the appointments are so they don't get missed. Any type of emergency, Obviously, if it's a dire emergency, just go wherever is closest to you. But make sure that at one point you call us and you let us know. There is another form on Slack that gives you a list of all the emergency vets that are open 24 hours. And one, it's like I think either open 10 to 10 Trust Vet in Cary, but the rest of them are 24 hours that you can take the dogs to if something were to come up. We will give you the parasite prevention, fleas and ticks, and heartworm prevention, and then also the vaccines. They all get their core vaccines and rabies, and we will, let you know what that is, of course. Behavior and training basics. We encourage you to take them for walks after they have been vaccinated. They can go around your yard, and you can work with them on leash training. Absolutely never, ever take them to a dog park. It's a horrible place. It's bad for all dogs. People that think that's a great place, no. Dogs get either aggressive or they get bullied. There's nothing in between. And then, upper respiratory is rampant everywhere, so you're going to pick that up. So no dog park ever. If there's a behavioral issue, call me immediately because we can fix it. The sooner we know about it, the better the chances that we can fix it quickly. A lot of dogs will test you. They will, do things that they think they can get away with. And, we put our emotions into everything as humans. So if you feel bad for them, we may let them on the couch. We may let them do things that you might not let your own dog do. And that will lead to issues. So call us. We usually have a trainer that we can get out to you immediately, or you can meet them, and then we'll take care of that. Again, going back to transport protocols, we talked about the martingale already to prevent the escapes. No tie-outs either. That's a no-no. That's when dogs get hurt or they run off. And then when you transport your dog, always have them in a crate, unless you really can't with a car that's tiny. But I doubt very much that that's the case. But I think a 30-inch crate, which most of us will have, can fit into any car. So it's important because if you're in an accident, the crate will save them from running off. When you bring a dog in, just take it slow. We kind of went over that earlier. Slow and controlled. Supervise your kids. Don't let the kids hit the dog's face immediately because you don't ever know what a dog will do. They might feel threatened or they might feel so scared that they nip, and they're not aggressive. They're just scared. And then just don't let them two dogs share foods if you have a dog in your home. Just be smart about it. Feed them in the crate. And, this is pretty common stuff, that's commonsensical stuff that most people know. But just, give them time. Going into the communication, so we do use Slack, and I think both of you are already signed up for this, and I hope that this is a whole screen recording that far over, but just wanted to give you an idea what your Slack looks like. Of course, you do not have all of these channels. You will have a USDC foster team channel, and you will have the all US Dog Coalition and Rescue Volunteers. That's the only two channels you probably have, unless you're also transporting. That's the only way we communicate with our fosters and our volunteers, because everything else was just getting too convoluted, too many text messages and then emails and then calls. It was just, I couldn't keep up with it. So this is where everything is. Up on the top here, you see what I talked about, the resources. These are all the different documents that I was telling you earlier. This is our emergency vets. Then we have our foster guidelines, which is just a very brief overview of what fosters, frequently asked questions kind of thing. And here's the crate schedule that I really hope that you follow because it makes life easier. And then a couple other things that, body language, different things that are important to know, and then also a home visit checklist at the end. Communicating in Slack is a little different. If you want to communicate in Slack and say you're in your channel and you want to get my attention, put an @ sign in front of the person's name, and that means that I get pinged. So I get an audible notification, and I will see it. You will see it under the activity up here as well. But if you just type into a channel and you just want to share something, like share some pictures that you thought were cute, you do not have to ping anybody. You don't have to tag anybody. If you want to get somebody's attention, you just use the @ sign and then their name. And if you want the whole channel to, something important that you feel is important for everybody and need to know it right away, and I use that a lot to get the attention about an event or a change in something, you just make the @ and then just type channel, and it will alert everybody in the channel. So that's really how we communicate in Slack. It's pretty simple once you figured that part out. And then also foster love. Once you foster, you will be getting an invitation to foster love, which is part of the shelter love shelter software. And this is what it will look like. For instance, I have myself as the foster for PK, and you will see exactly that just with the dog that you are fostering, obviously, in your contact information. You can go in here and you can change things. You can alter all of that information if you need to. You can change your foster capacity. That just tells me how many dogs you're willing to foster at one time. We traditionally only do one dog, unless they're siblings and they're little, or if it's a dire emergency. But I don't like to stack dogs in houses and homes. That's not cool. And then you can also add blackout dates when you're absolutely not available. Then I don't text you, and I won't bother you if you tell me, hey, all of June I'm gone. You have access to the medical, so you will see the different items listed here. For instance, the vaccinations when they're due, and you have access to add the weight. So it's kind of cool if you were to add the weight after you come back from the vet. We will go in and we will add the vaccines if there were any, but you can always update the weight. Even when you just say, hey, I want to just weigh her and see if she gained any weight, you can put in the weight in here. And then there's notes that you can add if there's something important that you feel like the adopter should know. And then you can also attach pictures and I think it's also videos that you can attach to this. So this is what your foster love will look like for your dog. So you have everything in one little package, which is kind of cool. Adoption process and marketing. We encourage you to talk about your foster because that's how they get adopted quickly. The people that share their foster on their social media, the people that go out and take the foster with them and talk about their foster, those dogs are adopted very quickly, a lot of times before they even make it onto the adoption page. So do it, just make sure that you share it because that's how people will know about it. And we also go through when the adoption happens. We have applicants and the applications come into us. We have a designated application checker, and she will either approve or deny the application, and then we send it to you, and you ultimately will be the ones that decides which dog is the right adopter for your foster, because you know the dog best, and you make that decision after you meet with them and do a home check. Meetings, I like to have the meetings at my house so I can really sit back and watch the people coming in. I can see how my dog that I have in my home, who is now comfortable in my home, how he interacts, because a lot of times dogs will choose their people, and you will know right away if the dog does. Some dogs don't like certain people, and then they go for another person, and this is amazing to see, but they pick their people. But you get to sit back and just watch. I like to have a longer meeting. Sometimes we're there for an hour, and I let them play with the dog. I let them, do whatever they want to talk about, ask the questions. I want to see what they do if a puppy pees on the floor. Are they going to get upset? Are they, it's a very good time to just watch the adopters and see if that's a good match. And then after you feel that they are a good match, you will do the home check, especially if there's another animal in the house. Be it a cat or a dog, and if there's kids in the home, it's very important to see how all of that takes place. Even though I encourage the kids and the whole family to come to the first meet and greet, sometimes it's different in the home. Kids will act differently, and then you get another idea of what life for your dog would be like when they're at that home. And sometimes it's great. You're convinced that this is the greatest fit. You call me, I send them the adoption contract, and you wait until I give you the green light, and then you can leave the dog. And a lot of dogs get adopted at the home visit. You don't have to let them know about that, but that's how usually it happens. And then at last, just prep yourself for letting the dog go and say goodbye, and then hopefully adopt or foster another dog. Obviously, you can't ask me any questions, but you can always call me, you can text me, you can email me if you're not signed up for Slack yet, or of course, once you're signed up for Slack, then please, reach out to me on Slack. And in case of emergencies, of course, you can always try to call me or text me or whatever means necessary to get me. So, and that's all I have, I think. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that we covered. I don't think so. So this is for you guys that weren't able to be there and weren't able to hear Sandra because she had AirPods in her head. So hopefully this made sense. If not, just, contact me on Slack and then I can clarify. All right, thank you.